As I do videos about Chico, California, one of the consistent questions that I get is, does Chico have a problem with homelessness? Now, it's a fair question, given that a lot of cities in California do struggle with the area of homelessness. Hi, my name is Brent and I'm a local real estate agent, and I get questions and comments all the time on YouTube about people who are considering moving to Chico. And if that's you, whether you're moving in 9 days or 9 months, please don't hesitate to reach out, and me or someone from my team would love to connect with you about moving to Chico. To be honest with you, doing a video about homelessness hasn't really crossed my mind because I believe that Chico is a case study in a California city handling homelessness well. They've done a fantastic job of creating a place that's compassionate towards the homeless community, while at the same time creating a safe and clean environment for the residences. But it wasn't always this way, and there's actually a long history of homelessness in Chico, California, and I'm gonna go through it very quickly. So for homelessness, let's go back to the Campfire. In 2018, we had a major fire in Paradise just up the hill from Chico. And in that disaster area, there was people camping out all over. Chico was a disaster area. And there was tons of hospitality and compassion. People were giving away free things. And what happened was, an unintended consequence is that homeless people from all over the country came to Chico for the handouts and the food and all the other things that were given out freely on the streets. In the wake of the Campfire, we were left with a large homeless population that had grown, I would say multiplied, within our community. The homeless situation was exacerbated in 2020 by an act of the Chico City Council called the Brown New Deal. Now, the Brown New Deal was enacted by local city council person Alex Brown, hence the name. The idea was to decriminalize homelessness by allowing homeless people to camp in public spaces. What ensued was a massive takeover of Bidwell Park, downtown, and other public parks of homeless encampments. Also during 2020, we had harm reduction zones. And these were areas in public parks that handed out hypodermic needles and other drug paraphernalia to allow people who use drugs to use them in what would be thought of as a more safe way. Needless to say, the quaintness and the charm of Chico was greatly diminished both in downtown and in Bidwell Park. The Brown New Deal and harm reduction centers sparked major outcry and were very, very controversial. This led to large protests locally in the city of Chico. Now, the controversy and the protests mainly fell along political lines, with the liberal city council being more in favor of harm reduction zones and the public camping, and conservatives being in more favor of enforcing the no camping laws and removing the harm reduction centers from public places. With the Chico City Council being a 5-2 liberal majority, a lot of these initiatives passed and the city was filled with large encampments. However, something very important happened in November of 2022. As the local election played out, one of the greatest referendums of Chico public policy took place. The local city council went from a 5-2 liberal majority to a whopping 6-1 conservative supermajority. It was the biggest political shift in Chico's history. The conservative campaign was primarily based on having a safe and clean Chico, led by a super PAC called Safe Chico, and it really resonated with the residents of Chico. Within a very short time, the new city council completely cleaned out all of Bidwell Park downtown. They reinforced the no camping zones that Chico had originally had. Literally tons of trash was removed from parks and waterways and other places where the encampments were. However, as the city was removing these encampments, they were sued by homeless advocates for evicting these homeless people from their place to live without another place to go. What resulted is the city was forced to build a large pallet shelter. It's essentially a large homeless shelter, and pay for 3 meals a day, air conditioning, city services, showers, and the like, all for free for any person in Chico experiencing homelessness to go and be provided for. The deal was that although you couldn't camp in public places anymore, you were allowed to camp in the pallet shelter. But that was the trade-off. The city spent millions of dollars on the public shelter, and the parks and downtown were cleaned up. Now, something else happened during this era in which the private sector of Chico, private businesses and philanthropists, got together to build large private homeless shelters in Chico, namely the Jesus Center and later on the Renewal Center. These are state-of-the-art, high-tech, beautiful facilities for people experiencing homelessness to go. So although many of these issues have been highly debated in Chico and highly controversial, it's my belief that Chico, both in the public and private sector, has done a fantastic job in addressing the homeless in our community. Chico currently is safe, is clean. I believe it has that charm that it's always had that was restored. It was diminished. Now, granted, it was diminished. There was a period of a couple years there that Chico got a bad reputation, and it was well-deserved. I did not personally feel safe walking in Bidwell Park or going downtown with my kids, and it was an interesting time to be in Chico. However, currently I must say that the City Council has done a fantastic job of making Chico a place that is enjoyed by many different people of many different walks of life. However, the current state of Chico may change. As we know, everything rises and falls on leadership. And as we've seen in Chico with the major shifts that we've had, leadership can change. And so whether Chico's always going to be a safe and clean and beautiful place for all is yet to be seen. But what do you think? Write your comments, questions down below in the comments. I'd love to have a discussion with you about the state of homelessness in Chico. Thanks.